Now, earlier this morning, I asked Parnell when he was walking into the courthouse if he did any of this. He's accused of all 11 counts of conspiracy. It was difficult for us to even navigate those back roads, but even those backgrounds, look, had signs like this. It's under control, it's contained, but this massive smoke and all of this wind makes it so hard for firefighters to continue to fight these hot spots. We begin with breaking news this morning. One man is dead, and Graves County Sheriff's deputies have a person of interest in his death. Deputies were called out to Dorothy Lane just north of Mayfield a little before midnight. The fire chief tells me that there were 5 counties with multiple agencies responding to this fire, but we do know that it's getting better, and that's because US 51 South, it's open to 1 lane. I'm here on South Friendship Road, and all of these trees, they used to be blocking the road. You get the depth of how large this building is. Well, that's your good morning music. You're listening to We Are the World. We're playing it for you this morning because it was released on this day in 1985.
I was about to say, I remember that. I was a kid in the 80s.
Throwback, yeah. There are a lot of things we don't know right now, like the cause of her death or where her body was found, but the sheriff's office says that's because they need to hear from you. But in this written indictment, Parnell was given sole responsibility to oversee the jail construction project. Here on Oaks Road, neighbors know that it's a low-lying area, but with this much water, all month long, NBC is showcasing 28 men and women who are young, gifted, and unapologetically Black. They're innovators, trendsetters, and pioneers. One of the biggest costs associated with these guys is just feeding them and bedding them. With 15, 20 people inside and the meeting just started, the sheriff tells me he's pretty encouraged by the turnout. Macy Forrester finds it hard to shake the memories.
I just remember I couldn't breathe.
The memories of feeling trapped in a second-story apartment.
I went to the stairway to check, and I was like seeing all these flames and smoke coming up.
But Forrester feels so fortunate and grateful someone was there to catch her.
He just told me to jump, so I did.
Next door neighbor Bradley Davis didn't initially hear her cries for help.
He ran fast he could.
That's because Davis is deaf.
He the only one help.
And it was only by chance he made a stop at home and saw the smoke.
He right there in the right place.
He saved his neighbor's life.
Girl fell, and he caught her.
It really was a matter of minutes between when she was able to jump from a second-story window to a safe landing here right before this kitchen window erupted in flames.
Tell the girl keep coming, please.
The overwhelming sentiment.
I was lucky to get out, and I was lucky I had a hero down here that saved me.
Gratitude from the savior and the saved. In Paducah, Amanda Roberts, WPSD Local 6.
I'm Bob Imhoff, president of Mid-Continent University.
Bob Imhoff moved into the president's home at Mid-Continent University in 1999, but only after Bethel College dismissed him and cut his contract short the year before. His wife, Jackie, was in charge of the school's Advantage program for non-traditional students. It promised a degree for working moms and busy business managers who wanted to earn a degree outside of a student's schedule.
The growth has been dramatic and great and has afforded us the opportunity to develop revenue sources heretofore impossible.
Imhoff began looking at his students as a revenue source, touting his school's success. But 2 years later, the money was gone and the school closed. Whistleblower and board trustee Gail Hawkins says the problem was greed.
The desire to get the cash overrode the desire to operate in a Christ-like manner. It was about getting money.
This enormous growth in wealth sparked a Department of Education audit. School leaders at the time say the 2011 audit was routine. I contacted all 31 board members to see if this was true, and only 2, Bob Sellers and Gail Hawkins, agreed to speak with me. Sellers was on the board here for 15 years, and about the audit, he said he knew something was off.
It was explained at the time that this was just something that they were doing. We were prepared that maybe there might be some fines that we may have to pay if there's some things that weren't handled exactly as they should have been.
Mid-Continent never passed the audit. So what led to the failed audit?
I'm sorry.
Acting president at the time, Ken Winter, says the problem was poor record keeping.
It was the lack of accurate and timely reporting of student data, and also of being so excited about getting someone on board as a student that maybe They were not as careful as they should have been with maintaining the kind of records that are necessary.
But when I asked Winter's successor, Tom Walden, the same question, he was more reserved.
What went wrong, in your opinion?
I told you that's a very difficult question to answer. The only thing I can tell you is the people that are there were not involved. And it just was a situation where several factors contributed.
The university spent 2 years trying to answer the department's audit questions. Even with 9 extensions from 2011 to 2013, the audit found too many problems with Mid-Continent's Advantage program and finances. The Department of Education decided to cut Mid-Continent off, starving them of any federal funds starting August 2013. And board member Bob Sellers says someone got away with something.
It appeared that, from what I understood, most of the responsibility fell within those for these records. But again, when we kept wanting to let's find out who has done this, let's hold them responsible, that they might be either, disciplined, fired, if that's the case, or even held accountable. If this is doing something that is illegal, then why shouldn't they be held accountable? None of that ever come about.
Imhoff was dismissed from Bethel College in 1998. The Cumberland Presbyterian General Assembly purchased the rest of his contract. According to the Mackenzie Banner, the Assembly asked Mr. Imhoff to, quote, exercise restraint in making program, staff, or faculty changes while he remains in office. I reached out to the General Assembly to ask why the contract was cut short. They have yet to answer my calls. They say while they're glad that they had this outpouring of support, coordinators say they were a little disheartened that this happened the day before Christmas season kicked off. It's beginning to look and sound a lot like Christmas in downtown Paducah. But as Jim Keeney was pushing his jewelry cart to his spot by the gazebo, he found some people who weren't as spirited.
She's like, did you hear what happened? I'm like, no, what?
Santa's workshop vandalized.
When something like this happens, it's very, very upsetting on a personal level.
And that's exactly how Paducah Main Street Coordinator Melinda Winchester felt.
And I think that's why I was just really heartbroken that someone would actually come and destroy a spot that's supposed to be magical for the kids.
Heartbroken until friends and neighbors came to help.
Yay! Oh, yay. It's wonderful. It's going to be wonderful.
All of the new decorations were donated, and so many were donated that they're even spilling onto the street.
And some more lights.
Keeney says seeing how people responded to this plea for help, he believes this piece of Christmas will be even bigger and better.
Whenever something unfortunate happens, it seems like you don't even have to do much more than just let it be known, and people will respond.
And that's exactly what Winchester is hoping for.
It really shows Paducah's community and Christmas spirit.
As for the man suspected in the vandalism, Paducah police tell me they took him to a hospital for mental evaluation, and charges, if any, will happen after that evaluation. Reporting live in Paducah, I'm Amanda Roberts for WPSD Local 6.